Why urine is drunk in ritual? The reason it's drunk in ritual is that when it comes to far as occultic, shaman, alchemy, um, fluid of the body is not viewed as waste. Okay, in occultic logic, nothing leaves the body without power in it. For example, blood, semen, urine, all of it carries charge. There are people that's grossed out by blood ritual, like using blood to do certain things. There are people that's grossed out by the semen. But recently, when we had that P. Diddy situation, some people wanted to just vomit. And, I understood underneath what it was all about, but I had to sit down and think about it. But I was like, wow. And that just to show you that I'm sure she was told, because for her to keep drinking it, she had been told. For example, urine isn't seen as waste, the way the medical world call it. It is seen as condensed life force. Filtered, carry essence. Drinking it is reclaiming what would be lost. Alchemy of waste into gold. For example, anyone that actually study alchemy understand that the alchemists they tend to flip the script on the head. What society says is trash, they call it treasure. Urine is golden water, a material symbol of transforming the low into the high. The act of drinking it is a ritualized declaration that you can take the filth and make it scarce. So basically, there was a story once time told. I understood where he was going with it, but the poor person didn't understand where they were going with it. For example, it was some award show years back, and someone was like, P. Diddy had pissed in a pitcher, and he was trying to pass off to a girl to drink, and the person was like, no, 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 don't drink that, don't drink that. For me, when I heard that, I felt sad about it. The reason I felt sad about it was because I realized he looked at her as filth, and he was about to level her up, which means that he didn't really think anything of the person that he was going to offer it to. He's like, here, let me turn you to something. You're trash. Like, oh, that is so very unfortunate. Occulted initiate often demand crossing lines that the average person would never cross. You better believe it. Drinking urine is one of those lines. It severed the initiate from normal culture, proven that they go beyond disgust, beyond fear, beyond conditioning. Once you drink it, you can't unsee yourself as separate from the herd. Um, Shaman recycling of substance. An Amazonian shaman in Siberian tradition. Psychoactive plant passed through the body still active. Shaman drink urine to recycle those compounds, keeping the trip going or amplifying this spirit connection. This isn't a metaphor, it's chemistry. It also reinforced the idea that nothing scarce is ever wasted. So there will be like different parts of the world where shamanism, and when they're taking certain hallucinated drug, um, psycho drugs and stuff like that, what they would do, they would drink the urine. It's commonly practiced within shaman world. There are just some that'll be honest about it, like the ones in Amazonia. They'll be honest, probably the Siberian, they're honest about it, but it's done throughout the whole planet, believe it or not. It's just not spoken of. The mirror of self sufficiency. By drinking their own water, a practitioner similarly becomes self-contained, self-feeding, godlike. They don't depend on anything external. Everything they need, they produce. This mirror the occulted doctrine that the divine is within, not outside. So, like I said, it might gross some people out. This is done. There are people that do honestly drink their own urine on this planet, and it's done to detoxify the body. It's done for a whole host of things, but it's also done far as them proving to themselves that they can survive on their own body. The humiliation breaker. And many ritual group initiates are tricked or pressured into drinking urine because it breaks pride, it breaks ego, it strips away dignity so they can be rebuilt. Once someone has submitted to that, they no longer operate from ignorance. They've been broken down and reprogrammed. Blood lesser twin. Urine is treated as the younger brother of blood. Blood rituals are heavier, riskier, and tied to death. Urine is easier to access, less dangerous, but still carry personal essence. It becomes a substance, fluid of ritual for binding, offering, or exchange of or power exchange, right? Solar waters. Okay. Historic, esoteric texts sometimes call it urine, water of the sun. Its golden color ties it to the solar energy, immortality, enlightenment. Drinking it ritually is thought to literally internalize the sun. Shock to the system. Part of ritual is shock. Drinking urine is disgusting to the uninitiated, but to the cultists, that shock is a jolt to the psyche. It's a way to snap conscious into a higher state. It flips the breaker in the brain. Power through submission. When someone is forced or tricked into drinking urine, it's rich in ritual. It's about power. It creates hierarchy. The one who commands it proves dominance. The one who drinks it proves loyalty. That act seals the control structure of the group. Confusion as initiate. People may be convinced urine has healing power, divine nectar. You hear that a lot, the divine nectar, which is urine people, or scarce alchemy. Without realizing it's urine they're talking about, people. Without realizing it, it also is about control. They're tricked because the explanation sounds spiritual, but the deeper purpose is to test their willingness to cross the line. Ritual humiliation. Occultists order use humiliation as a tool. Drinking urine isn't just about essence, it's about proving you'll obey, no matter the cost. It binds you psychologically to the group because shame becomes shared and hidden secret. Okay, sacrament of the body. Some set frame urine as one of the body sacraments alongside sexual fluid, sweat, or blood. Drinking it ritually is an act of consuming the temple offering back into itself. Now, when we're talking about sacrament of the body, there's a lot of grotesque things that go in this when it comes to occultism. Like, there are people that really gets their kick off. There are people that go down and they'll get a high off it. There are guys that anything sexual, they have to go down on a female. And what it is, they don't realize that they're doing like sacrament of the body, which is whatever discharge is of the female. And what it is that they unintentionally practicing ritual without realizing it. Okay. That is why a lot of people that know a lot about occultism or a lot about like shamanism, a lot about rituals, a lot about you can say mystic or whatever you want to call it, spirituality, they always tell you like, hey, you don't really want to engage in that because that's pretty dangerous. It's not someone that you are truly in love with because you want to make sure it's healthy. They're not going to tell you to want to make sure it's healthy sacrament of the body that you are engaging in. They're not going to tell you that, but it's the root reason why because it is a ritual and there are people engaging in it just about every day. There are people that jump from people to people and eating all kind of sacraments and without realizing it. Medicine twisted into ritual. In folk medicine, urine therapy has been practiced for centuries. I would say beyond centuries, millennia, eons, who knows? It's about from the beginning of time. Occult takes that and amplifies it into ritual. What once survival or healing become initiate symbolism, transformation. The disgust as purification. By facing what revolts them most, practitioners believe they purge fear. The disgust is the fire that purifies them. If you can drink urine without breaking, you transcend your weakness. A closed circuit of energy. Historic psychology see it. Esoteric psychology see the body as a circuit. Eating, drinking, executing, executing all are cycle. By consuming urine, you close the loop and create an internal cycle of essence within you. Cheap and cheap is accessible ritual fluid. Unlike rare plants, blood sacrifice, or exotic ingredient, urine is always available. This makes it one of the most widely practiced body essence ritual because anyone can produce it. That's why it shows up in many traditions. Dehumanizing into rebirth. Occultism often requires the death of the old self. Drinking urine is a way to dehumanize oneself, stripping away the old pride and purity so you can be remade in occult order image. Bounding through shared fluid. Some groups drink each other urine in rituals. This isn't just symbolism. It's about maligning essence, erasing individuality, merging identity into a collective egregore. The bottom line, urine drinking in ritual is not about health. It is about hydration. It is not about power. It is not about hydration. I'm sorry. Let me go over this sentence I read. The bottom line, urine drinking is not ritual. I'm sorry. Urine drinking in ritual is not about health. It's not about hydration. It's about power and essence, humiliation, taboo breaking, and transformation. Sometimes it's trickery. Sometimes it's initiation. Sometimes it's self experimentation. But in occultic logic, it's never waste. It's a gold disguised as filth, and drinking it prove you're willing to go all the way. So it's not something that's viewed as filth in the cultic world, in shamanism, and also mystic circle, um, spiritual circle is just not viewed like that. If you want to, and then also you can do more research on this if you want to. But this is something that I kind of know right off the top of my head why it's done, and there's a lot of story of it. But this is something like it's off the cuff. It's not for everyone. It is something that is done, right? So please like and subscribe. Please keep in mind that I do focus a lot on spirituality. That's something that I enjoy talking about. It's the only subject that really brings me joy when I talk about because I feel like everything is spiritual. The older I get, I'm like, it's spiritual more than anything else. So my name is Manushka. Jessica, host of Luco T Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to Luco T Podcast. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being part of the audience of Luco T Podcast. Thank you for subscribing to this channel and thank all those that have already subscribed. Please like and subscribe. I do like to read comment. Bye.